A boy throws a rock so that the height in feet after t seconds is given by this formula right here. So this actually comes from physics. If you throw something into the air and it doesn't have a engine attached to it or something like that that can propel it, so just a rock or a baseball or something, then this is how fast it was thrown, 128 feet per second. It was released at a height of 3 feet off the ground. Notice these are both positive. And then this is gravity pulling it back down. So how long until the rock hits the ground? Well, when it hits the ground, then the height is equal to 0. So that's saying put 0 for h, and then solve for t. And there's nothing that can be factored out, because only a 3 can be factored out of here, but that's not going to work over here. So we just should go straight to the quadratic formula. So negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times the a times the c. All of that's inside of the radical. And then it's one big fraction with 2 times a for the denominator. Since it's a word problem, we should get a decimal answer, so we might as well use the little calculator to find out what decimal is this. I'm going to put parentheses negative 128 and then plus the square root of 128 squared. Multiply a negative times a negative, that's going to be positive, and then it's a 12 times a 16. If you put the 4 and the 3 together for that 12. Close the radical, close the fraction, and then it's divided by negative 32. So that means t equals negative 0.023, which for a real life problem you can't have negative times, so we're going to throw that one away. We need the other one. So if I get this back and just change this to subtraction, then that should be the positive answer. 8.023, and then that's in seconds. Wow, that seems sort of unrealistic. To have a boy throw a rock and it stays in the air for 8 seconds? That's going to be a major league pitcher right there. Okay, find the maximum height that the rock will attain. Well, essentially, there's two main ways we can do this in intermediate algebra. One is you can take these two answers and sketch a graph of the parabola that's being made by this t squared function. So it's going like this. Eventually it hits the ground after just over 8 seconds. And then the maximum is going to be right here, and because parabolas are symmetric, it has to be in the middle of these two. So the middle would be you add them together, divide by 2. So find the average of these two. So negative 0.023 plus 8.023 divided by 2, and the average, wow, is exactly 4. 4.0. Another way to do that is use the formula x equals negative b over 2a, which actually comes from the quadratic formula, but it's only this part and this part without the radical. So if I take this divided by this, negative 128 divided by negative 32, ta-da, same thing, the 4. Now, that means t equals 4 seconds, but it's saying find the maximum height, not when did it happen, but what was the actual height. So now we need to take this 4 and substitute it into the height function to find out what was the maximum height at that moment. So for part B, it's going to be the height will equal negative 16 times 4 squared plus 128 times 4 plus 3. So I think I'm going to have Sorry, usually when I put it on the right hand side there's a terrible glare, but it seems to be okay today. So negative 16 times 4 squared plus 128 times 4 plus 3. 259. That kid can really throw. 259 feet would be the maximum after 4 seconds.